everybody, screw you again, and I have started doing this thing with my Dominion videos that I figure I'll do for my Slay the Spire ones too, which is instead of talking while I play, which distracts me the most, I am going to narrate. So I saw that, because I watched these back anyway, so why not? So I saw that I had a path where I could take an elite in the first 3 fights, so as long as I didn't get too unlucky with the question marks, and possibly to get 2 elites in the first 3 fights. So I took the thing that gives us HP for the 2 fights. Unfortunately, I get a combat second elite. We get in the shop! We're broke. That was probably a mistake, I think. If you do the math, I think I ended up costing myself health, but I figured I'd be able to kill him a little bit faster than I do end up killing him here. Why I got a little unlucky with the draws, I would say, but I also didn't win. Spoilers, sorry. Let me go ahead and try to block that too. Next turn, I'll kill him, but there's not that much damage. Dex, here we're going to take a bunch of damage. Again, not the best draw, but also not the best situation. Background. Let me, let's just give that a quick pause here. All right. No, I don't. That's the video. Okay. So, I got the strawberry out of that, and then I take the happy flower, and it's time to rest because I took way too much damage in that knob fight. Maybe I could have gotten away with smithing instead, but I don't really like hanging out with single-digit HP, so if I get down to single digits, I tend to just rest, kind of no matter what the situation. And at this point, I'm going to take a little bit of damage, but it's for the greater good. And we are killing some dudes, taking some damage because of that vulnerable debuff. And I think we're going to kill this dude, and then we won't take any damage this turn. So he buffs himself, but I think we should be able to kill him now. Between making him vulnerable and attacking and the orb damage, and we get the odd mushroom. And I think we're going to take the cold snap. Adding a cold snap to the deck never seems like a bad idea, and make him curl, attack him. Can probably finish him off here. That was silly, wasn't it? I decided to just take damage for no reason. Nice. Good job, Jake. Alright. I could have killed that louse, too, couldn't I have? Wow, I am on the ball today, aren't I? Okay, I get a little lucky. The orbs bail me out, but almost took some more unnecessary damage there. We're gonna pretend that we didn't see that happen. I decided I'd rather have the fire potion than the swift potion. I grab a ball lightning. I almost always take ball lightning every time I get it offered. Obviously, you think about adding a card to the deck, but I think that ball lightning is probably one of my favorite cards in the game. It's just so, at least common cards, it's just so efficient for the amount of damage it puts out. Okay, so we go ahead and Tempest here, and we'll take some damage, but I don't think we could have avoided that, really. Want this guy dead so that we can hopefully save the gold. The orbs finish off the slime, and I'll be surprised if I can't finish this guy off. And he's dead. Good. So I take auto shields. A little more defense in the deck never hurt. And I decide to block. Now, the blocking was actually pretty dumb because I believe that I end up using the fire potion here to try to save some health. And if I had not blocked, I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but I might have been able to not spend the potion. But I wouldn't have had as good of a split, so I guess it kind of comes out in the wash. And the fire potion isn't that valuable against the Guardian who I'm about to fight, so... I mean, it's good. It's never bad, but... I take white noise. I know it's kind of a mixed bag of what it ends up doing for you, but... I rest before the boss fight. And drink my focus potion right away. Block for no reason. There we go. Decide to drink my skill potion. Should have done that earlier, but I decide that maybe taking the white noise. Okay, so I feel like the main reason I did that was because I'm a little low on health, and I wanted to heal up a little bit with Bird-Faced Urn. And if I get a really good power out of it, that's all the better, you know. I'm looking at the amount of damage I need to do to get him out of attacky mode, and I've got enough because the orbs will take it. Focus potion to the rescue. And this is the part of the fight I never really know quite how to handle. Like, how much damage is it really worth dealing when he's in this phase if you're going to take damage in the process? I decide Ball Lightning is a high value enough card to play and just take some damage for it. But other than that, I just decide to save my health. I want to play this fight a little bit conservatively because I'm low on health and I don't really want to risk dying. So I don't think I decide that either of these are worth playing to take damage from. And I decide to hologram and grab my zap. And I need to do 45 damage. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe I would have wanted to grab a defense card from the discard pile, but I think I just grabbed the one that was free. So the evocation card is pretty good in this case. Should have probably played Sweeping Being first, because then I could have played a Ball Lightning instead of one of those strikes. And FTL, which I failed to draw a card from. Mistake again. Decide again that these cards aren't really worth playing. Now I'm low on health, but so I think I decide to just turtle up this turn. And I realize that playing the Cold Snap will actually save me as much, block as much for me as playing a block, or not as much, but enough to not take damage. So I finish him off, and I take Echo Form, because that card just super strong. And I decide to go for the Velvet Choker as my relics. And I've got 4 energy, but I have to be careful about how many cards I play a turn. And my boss is the champ, which is something that concerns me a little bit, just because I have the Echo form and I have some focus synergy, but in the ball lightning, but I don't have a lot in the way of scaling damage or a proper win condition in this deck yet, I don't think. So I'm going to be looking for that as I make it to the champ. A lot of the time I try to get a Dark Orb because just to take him from that half health down to 0 health really quickly without too much in between. And I'm deciding how to handle this. I'm going to be taking a lot of damage, it looks like. I don't know exactly how to prevent it. I decide playing the Echo form is worth taking 5 damage because even though it neglects playing a defend. So at this point, I am evaluating my options. I could double cast the Tempest, but I don't think that will kill them both, so I decided to double cast the card that defends me instead. And I won't take any damage this turn because of it. And I should be able to finish him off just fine. Alright, so I get my gold back, and I believe I decided to take Loop. It's a decent damage card for me, and it also synergizes pretty well with the Bird-Faced Urn. Okay. And I decided to dual cast. It'll break through his block, which means that I can do 4 damage to his health. You know, I mean, that seems fine, I guess. So, thinking about what to do here, I decide to play the Echo form and defend a little bit, not play the Loop. You could have made an argument for playing the Loop instead of that defend, because the Loop would do damage and heal me a little bit, which is kind of tantamount to blocking. So, I don't know. But I get a Fairy in a Bottle, so that's a little bit of extra insurance for me. And I decide, so the only difference between those two paths is that one had 2 check marks, one had 2 questions, and one had 2 fights, and I decide the questions are better in Act 2. And I did take the apparitions. So part of my thinking there is that they're going to be useful against the champ if I can hold on to them. And I was so damaged anyway that I didn't actually lose any regular health. I just lost max health. So I was down to 38 anyway. So I figured the apparitions would add a little bit of survivability for my build. And in this case, I don't think there's any avoiding taking some damage. So I get those apparitions, which synergize quite well with the Echo form. So now I've got 3 turns of intangibility. I can just be doing damage with those turns. Or playing more apparitions, you know, whatever. And so this is kind of where I tend to have trouble with the apparition event when they get added this way, is making sure you have enough damage to capitalize on this intangibility, and they are ethereal, so it makes it tough. Alright. We're deciding exactly how to play our cards. We only get to play 2 more. I feel like FTL should have been one of those to draw a card and maybe play something better. I don't know. I would have wanted to read the draw pile first to see what was in there. So we decided to double play the Zap. I don't know. Maybe that should have been FTL as well, but we've got Electrodynamics up, so that will go ahead and finish them off. And I believe I decide none of these are really solving a problem that my deck has. I am really usually consistently able to play every card in my hand, at least to the point of Velvet Choker, so the turbo's bad. And I probably can't play the Plasma Strike, so yeah, there's just no reason to take those. I get some max HP, that's pretty good. Now, you'll see me over the next few campfires upgrading these apparitions. And spoilers, yes, that's what I end up doing. My reason for doing that, and all that does when you upgrade them is make them not ethereal. My reason for doing that is pretty much entirely because my boss is the champ. I don't know if that's a good idea, but you'll see me doing it, again, just because my boss is the champ, and my thinking is that I'm going to want to be able to save the apparitions if I can, for if we get to that second half of the fight, and he's doing his giant execute attack, I need to have apparitions ready for that, because that's the only way I'm going to survive it. So, we will... for now, I think I stand by my decision to keep smithing the apparitions. But I'm also not really used to playing with the apparitions, so I don't know if that's usually a good idea or not. And I can't remember if I have Echo Form up. I do not. So I just play the apparitions and take some immunity. Just play every card in my hand, really. Buffer is fine. Right. And he's dead. I don't know if I played that fight optimally, but it went so fast that it's kind of hard to say. I go ahead and take Reinforced Body, just for a little bit of added survival. Part of my reasoning for taking that is thinking maybe it'll save me an apparition at some point. Maybe, say against the champ, I can block one of his regular attacks with Reinforced Body, so that saves an apparition for his execute. I don't know if that is a good way to go about that. And I'm pretty upset that I end up fighting the Snecko. Not because I feel like I am less equipped than a lot of other builds to fight the Snecko, but because I hate this fight so much. It's just frustrating. It's not even that hard. You'll see, I don't even think I take any damage from this fight, but it's just annoying. I hate not being able to control what cards I play. It's frustrating, but it's part of the game, so I trek through it. Play some more apparitions. Let my orbs do the talking for me. And free Echo Form! Nice! I don't think I'll ever get to use it, though, because I believe this will be finishing him off. There we go. I think I decided I'd rather have the Explosive Potion than the Dex Potion. I don't think the Dex Potion does a whole lot for me in this. Oh, and this was pretty lucky because I still have like all my strikes and defends. So they all get upgraded. Yay! Great event. So yeah, the Dex Potion doesn't like do anything because, you know, I'm kind of either like in apparition mode or I'm not, and that's really my main means of survival, and I have to finish these fights quickly enough anyway that the Dex Potion probably isn't worth keeping. So I decide to go ahead and evoke that Thunder Orb and put up some Frost. I don't know. In retrospect, what else was I going to do with that turn, though? Okay, get the Echo Form up. Decide to just let that Apparition exhaust, I think. Or do I play it? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything either way. So, normally I try really hard to take out the Cleric first. I think that's a pretty clear move because she heals things, but this ends up being kind of a weird iteration on this fight. So I'm worried at this point because this deck is not really built to fight a long pitched battle. it is built to get into apparition mode and do some damage, and then hopefully the fight's just over by the time my defenses run out. So I decided to play the Strike, not really paying attention to Velvet Choker. I might have gotten more value out of the Tempest there, but I also kind of wanted to keep the Frost Orbs. So I get to double play Ball Lightning, and then this time I play Tempest. And so I'm a little sad to see all that damage go into the Knight, because again, I'm really trying to take out this Cleric over here, but you kind of roll with the cards you're dealt. More damage goes into the Knight, and at this point, I'm saying, you know what? I might just be swimming uphill here. So I decide this Explosive Potion isn't going to get any better, and they're about to block and heal. So yep, there we go. We take out the Guardian. That's the only time I've taken him out first ever. But I think it was the right call in this case. And we get our Explosive Potion back. And I think we decide that Barrage is enough damage that it's worth putting in the deck. And what do I end up doing here? I might smith another Apparition for the same reasons that I smithed the first few. Yep. Just because I think this deck's survivability, especially against the champ in particular, is contingent on being able to save the apparitions if I need to. Maybe I could have... You know what? I should have probably just played my leap instead and not played the apparition there. That was a little silly of me. So I decide to, I believe, play do I play the Tempest or the Strike? It's the same amount of damage either way, actually. The Strike is upgraded for 9, evoking the Orb does 9. I don't have a Thunder Strike in my deck or anything, so I get FTL. I have these 2 apparitions in my hand that I'm very glad I get to save, I think. So I found my Echo form, which is, it's good that it wasn't at the bottom of the deck. Healing up a little bit with Birdface Urn. And now that I've Echo formed the apparitions, each one is basically a double apparition, and that's great. The Echo form synergizes quite well with the apparitions, I think. And so I'm intangible, but nothing's happening, but I do have Apparition in hand with Echo form active, so I believe the best play I can make is just playing the Apparition, and no real reason to play anything else. You know, I just realized that Loop kind of anti-synergizes with auto shields if I have Frost up, doesn't it? Yeah, so keep that in mind. Yeesh. Get to double play that Lightning Orb. I think I decided I'm just not playing that Apparition this turn. I'm just going to save it in the deck. So I'm deciding what I want to double play. And I think that it probably ends up being the Barrage. The Strike is actually the same, isn't it? No, it's not. Because the Strike will do less than 9, yeah. But I do regular play the Glacier because I know he's going to attack next turn, and I'm going to want to have that Frost up. Unless I draw an Apparition, like I do. So, in this case, it didn't matter, but I think, like having the Frost over the Lightning. Just because he's going to start attacking a lot, right? I don't actually know what his pattern looks like. Maybe that should have probably been Glacier and not what it was. Although actually no, because I took him down to half health, so he's going to start charging up his Execute. So I think I was probably right not to dual cast instead of playing Glacier, just to keep the lightning orbs up while he's not attacking. And I thankfully draw an apparition, so that gets around his execute attack. And he's metallicized for 12, so that's a lot to chew through. Decide to draw some cards by echo forming the FTL. And that'll do a lot of damage because it evokes an orb. I hit my choker limit. Now what do? I double strike him, then I make him vulnerable. And then I think I play the Glacier just to get my Frost up for when he attacks next turn. There we go, yeah. Okay. So at this point he is hitting with his Execute attack, which is more damage than I can afford to take. But luckily I've got 5 energy from Happy Flower, and I forget where the other one came from, but I can double cast this Reinforced Body. Was that a little bit of overkill? Yeah, that was. Maybe should have double casted the Thunder Orb instead, but did I even play the Thunder Orb? Did I just not play it for no reason? Because that'd be cool. That sounds like me. Sounds like a thing I would do. So not taking too much damage from him. Trying to wait out and draw my apparitions if I have any left. I might not have any left. But he's super close to being dead. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter because I can just kill him with that attack. So I made it through the champ fight, and that's what I was really worried about with this deck that's relying on the apparitions to stay alive. I take the electrodynamics because I feel like that's pretty good for it, and I go ahead and grab the cursed key. Now, at this point, I have a base energy of 5 every turn, and I have the Velvet Choker, so I shouldn't have any energy issues. And it should help for things like my X-Cost card. I'm trying to map out a path here that doesn't force me to fight an elite at all, ever, in Act 3. That's what I usually do, is just see if I can potentially avoid fighting any elites ever, because I hate these Act 3 elites. But I decide there isn't one, so I take the one that gets me to the nearest shop, because I have a lot of gold, and that gold is doing nothing as long as it sits there. I kind of just play this fight plays out pretty much like you'd expect. I echo form my apparitions whenever I can just to be safe, but it's not really necessary because this is one of the easier fights in the game. At least relative to when you face it. Electrodynamics is a lot of damage here. Oh, and I dual cast it, so I double cast it with Echo Form. I decide that the Explosive Potion isn't necessarily going to do as much as a Skill Potion. Not really ready to give up that Fairy because I just don't live that far on the edge. I think it was a mistake to take 2 of these, because these colorless cards tend to be kind of low cost but also low impact, and I have Velvet Choker, so we'll see. I am looking at Magnetism, but I don't think that's a great card for me either. So I think I end up taking the Sadistic Nature, not being terribly excited about it. You can see me here not being excited. Am I allowed to just not take a card in that case? I don't know. So I've got a lot of gold. It's time to go on a spending spree. I take the waffle, and I take Art of War, decide the shovel isn't necessarily something I need right now. A shovel might have been good, because I don't have a lot to do with these campfires. Like, I've done all my high-value smithing. But I do decide to remove a card. And probably one of these zero-cost cards, because they don't necessarily help me a whole lot when I draw. I take out the card I just gained. Cool. I just gained that last encounter. But I do add some cards to the deck. A card. And YouTube has... just ignore the man behind the curtain. I usually just always take the Act 1 boss, just because those other things have very real drawbacks, and an Act 1 boss when you're in Act 3 doesn't pose much of a challenge. And as you're going to see here, that's the case here as well. So I've got the Echo Form, the Apparition, and I decide to, I think, save this other Apparition in the deck for later, just in case this fight goes long. And I get to double play the white noise, so I have 2 powers that are free in my hand. So, time to play these apparitions and just keep doing some damage, you know. Things the deck has been doing for a while. I decide which card I really want to play twice. Decide it's the Ball Lightning. And between Cold Snap and Strike, I decide to play both. So I double Apparition here, and at this point, I think I just spend everything I have on Lightning. Keep on chipping away at him. And Electrodynamics. All right. So, I got the Stone Calendar, which is a rare relic, and it was voted most likely to do nothing in high school. And it continues to do nothing. Spoilers, the Stone Calendar never does anything. That's not really a spoiler, because it's going to apply to your runs too. It's just not... Like, I've had it do something like one time. Like, one time, it actually went off and mattered. Every other time I've had it, it's either never... What the Stone Calendar did is teach me something about Slay the Spire, and that's how quick the average fight actually is. It's not that many turns. So I'm deciding what to do about this. Not super worried about it either way, because... So, yeah, I like Discovery for reasons like this. Sometimes it gives you this something like a hilariously broken option, like a free Plasma Strike or Meteor Strike, whatever. And I can play one more card. I decide to kill the thing that was going to attack. And go intangible, so I only take 1 damage from the Thorns. And now I get the Pocket Watch. I don't see the Pocket Watch ever going off either, but just because, you know, I'm going to be playing 5 cards most of the time, 5 or 6. So I'm looking at what I could smith. I think that I don't really, again, have a high value upgrade that I can make here. I think I decide that I play the ball lightning every time I draw it, for the most part, so upgrading it is about as much value as I'm going to get. I hit the shop again, and I'm not too keen on adding cards to the deck for no reason at this point, just because my deck is kind of humming along and doing its thing, and adding more variants to that just doesn't seem worth doing. So I take the pen nib, and my elite is the Nemesis, which shouldn't be too bad for me, to be honest. This is one of the elites. I'm more equipped to handle this guy than I'd say maybe the Stonehead or something like that. Yeah, Stonehead would just kind of wreck me, wouldn't it? So I'm looking at what I can do here. I'm lucky to get a buffer, but between drawing the apparition and my block, I think I decide that I can actually save the buffer. Wonder if I needed to play Glacier and get rid of the lightning orbs. If I should have kept those. So I'm deciding how to play this turnout, and I decided to keep the apparitions in the deck. Playing them would have been fine, I think. So let's see, what are we looking at in this hand? I think we decide to play the Echo form, but we should really play Discovery first. Yeah, that really should have been a thing I did first. We take the Biased Cognition, just because it'll help block too, right? And I'm actually fully defended here, I just saw. So, doing some damage. And he's intangible, but so am I! Two can play this game. So, nothing I can really do here. So I just screw around and then end the turn. Alright. I've got the pen nib up, so thinking about what exactly to do. Decide to play a strike instead of the FTL. Oh, and to the Stone Calendar! You see that 6 Stone Calendar play? It finished him. Alright, so I'm thinking about taking the Hyper Beam. But I think I decide that it's likely enough to be a dead card when I draw it, that it's just not worth adding to the deck. I just don't think that it's necessary, because my build really likes these orbs, and I skip the chest. Darklings. Alright. For this fight, am actually just doing damage to whoever has the most health, just to try to get around their gimmick of recovering. I don't know if that's a good way to handle this fight or not, but I don't think I handle this fight very well in general. It's just not a fight I feel like I have a handle on. So, trying to keep them all around a level amount of health. And go intangible for next turn, and I've got Pen Nib active, so whatever I play is going to be doubled. This is where I wish I had that Hyper Beam. There we go. And what, do I dual cast this? Sure. Keep myself intangible next turn. And I have the Echo form, and I almost play it, but then I count, and I'm like, I can maybe kill these guys if I don't play the Echo form. Okay, so I finish him off, and then the orbs should finish this other one off. And I decide Defrag is worth adding to the deck for sure, and upgrading. And I get the Snake Sword Lady. Start laying into her swords. Good old Snake Sword Lady. And I wish I had an orb up, but I don't. So I'm deciding if I can get away with playing the Echo form, and I can, just because I have the Apparition in hand. Apparitions are pretty good, it turns out. So I think I do to actually take some damage here, because I decided to play a Frost Orb, Cold Snap instead of a Leap. I stand by that decision for the most part, so we'll see. Alright, get up our electrodynamics. Oh, that Cold Snap should have gone into the Snake Lady, because the orbs alone would have killed the sword. It's another mistake. Look at me go. Alright, so let's see. Auto shields, loop, and balls. Lightning balls. Ooh, we're close to this stone calendar going off. Will it happen? Spoilers. No. I play the Discovery to see if I can get something that would, I don't know, have some long-term benefit. I don't even know if the Defect has anything like that, but I'm thinking, you know, like Feed for the Ironclad or something like that. But I decide that I would really, I'm looking at that question mark and saying if it's a shop, that's amazing. But I can't guarantee it's going to be, so I decide to take 2 campfires because that's guaranteed value, and upgrade the reinforced body. Got this one last regular fight before we take on Donu and Deka. And nothing I can really do about it here. I'm going to take a little bit of damage. And it looks like I'm going to take some damage here as well. But I had fun, and that's what's important. I decided to take the skill potion to try to mitigate some of the damage. I'm not in love with that play. I understand why I did it, though. I was going to take, what, like 9? And when you have 51 base health, that's kind of a big deal, so maybe it was okay to drink the skill potion. I decide to attack the spiky guys while I can. continue to attack the spiky guys while I can. My thinking is that eventually a random bolt of lightning will strike that guy who has 1 health, but it doesn't, and I get junked. Decide I've had enough of that and finish him off. Play some powers to heal. I guess they do other stuff too, but mostly I'm playing them for Birdface turn. And I should be able to finish him off soon, if not this turn. I decide to attack him once, I think. I don't think I decide to do it again. Oh, I don't need to. And I'm missing a health, so I decide to smith. What do I decide to upgrade? I'm thinking about it, and I don't see a great option. I decide that upgrading the Tempest is a little bit better than upgrading Electrodynamics, because I can play the Tempest for 0, and I can't play Electrodynamics for less than 2. Oh, hey! We might see Stone Calendar do something this fight. I think we will, yeah? So, Donu Deka. I think I decided to take Fission just because I'm thinking that I really need to make sure that I have some kind of damage mitigation. And I drew an Apparition, luckily. That's what I was going for with the Fission, so it worked out. Donu Deka can like almost one-shot me, and they can definitely one-shot me later in the fight, so I can't really afford to take like a hit from them. So I really need to make sure I have my apparitions up as much as I can, and also just finish this fight very quickly, which is kind of always the case against them because of the way Donu's strength buff works. And at this point, I am, I believe, swearing under my breath, saying, "Where is my Echo form?" Yep, yeah, look, I bring up the deck and look for it and everything. Like, do I still have an Echo form? And I do. I have to play another Apparition, which I'm not happy about. I would rather be saving those in the deck until I can Echo form them, so that I get effectively 2 Apparitions out of it, but Electrodynamics and the Thunder Orbs are doing enough damage here to kind of make me feel a little better about that. And I continue to not draw my Echo form. That's okay. It's the human experience, yeah? So he's going to be hitting for, 36? So I decide to try to turtle up a little bit, and yep, the reinforced body and the orbs mean I won't take any damage. I might have even been able to sneak another attack in there. Found my Echo form! And I think I have to waste my last apparition. Just because it won't work on that one. So I don't know if I get to Echo form any apparitions this fight, actually. Was that all of them? Might have been. That's okay. Donu is down to... oh, no, I do get to. Donu is down to very little health left. And, he gets finished off by the... no, he doesn't. Stone Calendar activated, and you see me hovering over it in awe because I never see it activate. So... at this point... I drew my Echo form pretty late, which I was sad about, but the fight is basically over at this point. I do get to finish him off. I should be able to this turn because of Pen Nib. And that is it. There we have it. We made it to Ascension 15 the first time. For the first time, I should say. I've been trying to do it for a while, so here we go. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any feedback, comments, mistakes that I didn't catch and you do. Or if you just want me to never make another video again. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, bye.